Let me introduce you to the Develop module interface. For those who attended my previous workshop on cataloging, there will be some repetition here, but of course, developing module has some specifics to it. So the entire interface consists of 4 panels. The top panel, which is basically the switch between modules, and because we are going to work in the Develop module the entire workshop, we don't need this panel and we'll switch it off. The left panel, as we agreed, we can treat as a source of files which will go to the fourth panel, the timeline panel. The right side is our effects and tools which we apply to make our images better. And the main area, that's where our main image is. It is easy to turn off each of these panels using this tiny triangle on the edge of the screen. Or if you want to turn off the top panel, it's also F5 key, and we save some room for the main image. The bottom one, the timeline, can be switched also with F6 key. And both side panels can be simultaneously switched off by the tab key. So our image occupies the entire screen here. Let's turn back our main panels. But if you want to switch to the demonstration mode, you can use F key, and it switches off all the toolbars at once and shows the image full screen. So F stands for full screen. If you want to, as I have here, get rid of the top bar, the Windows or Mac bar, and also the taskbar, Windows taskbar at the bottom, you can use Shift F. It has 3 different settings, and this one is the mode when Lightroom occupies the entire screen for its panels. There are some buttons on both panels. 3 of them are permanent: copy and paste, which allows to copy developing settings from one image and apply it to different images, and reset button, which actually resets all the developing for the selected image. And the fourth one, which is called previews here, but this is a dynamic button which changes the meaning depending on where we are and how many images is selected on the timeline. Also, the timeline on the top bar of the timeline has ton of important information areas here. Well, we can use this area to demonstrate something on the second screen if we have 2 monitors. We can quickly go to the grid mode, to the library module. We can go back and forth from image to image which we developed or changed metadata in. It also shows us which collections we are using right now, and also how many photos are active on the timeline, because we can use our filter, local timeline filter here, to filter off some images using flags, rating, colors, and that can be set up individually or turned on and off completely using this global switch for the filter. As you remember, it also has, if you attended the previous workshop, it has a secret quick access area. By clicking on the empty area right here, we can access that area, which allows us to go to the catalog specific areas and also recent sources. Well, there are some buttons on the keyboards which change the meaning from the library model, which are, so there is T key, which turns on and off toolbar, and this toolbar is not that important and not frequently used in the develop module as it was in the library module. So I personally usually keep it turned off, revealing more space. Also the backslash key, which was the main filter bar, but here it shows before and after for the image, before and after. When you click, you switches the modes, or you can just hold and release it and go back. The last helpful key which I would like to introduce you is IPHE, Info Zone. It has 3 settings and it displays some information on the top of the image permanently. So you can turn it off. Another setting is Info Zone 1 and this is Info Zone 2. You can set up these zones via the menu View Options, and it can show you either the Info Zone 2 or Zone 1, and you can set it up. I use the default settings for the Info Zone 1, which is the name, date, and the crop dimensions, but I have slightly different settings for the Info Zone 2, which is exposure and ISO, lens settings, and the attributes, flags, rating, and colors. Before proceeding to specific developing tools, let's set up our side panels. Right-click on the empty space and choose Solo Mode for the right panel, which allows you to have only one tool set open. When you click on another one, it automatically closes the previous one and opens a new one. There's an exception here. The histogram has to be manually operated, so you can have one tool set and the histogram. And also local adjustments, they can be stacked in solo mode with any of the tools. So we can have one local adjustment and one tool from the tool set. I did not use solo mode for the left panel because there is enough room here to keep few panels opened. But as well, Navigator here lives its own life and can be stacked with any of the tool sets, even if you switch on the solo mode here. Now the Navigator in Develop module has some difference. It not only allows you to click and have 100% and then drag and choose the area of the image, you can also set up force zoom in value for yourself. But also when we will start using automatic presets, you will discover that just pointing one of the presets shows us in Navigator the specific work of that preset as if we already applied it. From the folders. But in case you need folders and you work from folders, you can always go back to the library module using the switch here or using the keys. G stands for grid mode. There is this specific button. Select the folder and then go back to the develop module.